Jeffrey on Lake County's 1023 XLC. So this past weekend in Chicago, the first time Sacred Rose Festival took place here. And one of the performers that everybody was talking about on Saturday, let me tell you, legit, like everyone that I talked to was talking about the performance that STS9 had there at Sacred Rose. So today I have David, Hunter, and Jeffrey from STS9 joining me. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Doing wonderful. Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's so good for you to take some time and just talk with me here a little bit. So I really appreciate it. And let me say, today I kind of drove around just listening to some of your music, listening to Visions tapes, and legit, it could be like the soundtrack for my life. I love it.
Nice.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
that means a lot
it's
to
just
us. Thank you for saying that. Wow.
no, I think your music can definitely, if you enjoy music, there's not a reason that somebody shouldn't be listening to what you're doing. So STS9, I mean, you guys have been at it for quite a while, doing it all on your own, which is so reputable and respectful. And, hopefully with more people doing it now these days, people will kind of latch on to what you're doing. So why don't you tell me about a little bit about like how the band came about?
Yeah, we started back in Atlanta, Georgia, as a three-piece, and we kind of met. A couple of us knew each other in high school, and we would play together. And then we met up with Zach, our drummer, after high school, formed a little three-piece that lasted for a couple of years. We met David Phipps, and that's when things really started to take off, and like we really started to take the band seriously, I think. And not too long after that, we met Jeffrey on percussion. And that all happened within the first maybe 4 years of the band, and that was our lineup for I'm not sure how long, but then Alana Rockland, our bass player now, joined us about 10 years ago, and she was always a friend. Her and her husband Brad, they've been around, helping us, and we've been admirers of theirs and their band, for such a long time. So it was just kind of really natural fit. But yeah, it all started about 20 something years ago back in Atlanta.
I know, it's so crazy. Time flies by so quick.
Yes, it does.
So Atlanta seems to have this weird, and I use weird kind of, that's probably not the right word, but there's this creativity. There's artists that are coming out of Atlanta that are really creating really unique things. So why do you think that is?
It's a true, there's so much diversity in Atlanta. And all of that goes into the music, the culture, and well, it goes into the culture and it comes through in the music. And so it was, kind of just accepted that, I mean, Outkast in high school were like what the Beatles must have been to, you know what I mean, to UK back in the day. I mean, we had such powerful, unique, authentic artists who were truly doing something different, representing Atlanta in an authentic way, and we were just lucky to be in that environment, and to be in an environment where it was kind of accepted or almost expected that you had a diverse set of influences. Yeah, I think that's part of it for sure.
Yeah, I feel that Atlanta is like its own thing. Like there's Georgia, and then there's Atlanta, and it's like it's really not really necessarily an island. I think a lot of the things that go around like around there definitely influence what goes on in Atlanta, but it's definitely a unique and very cool place.
Absolutely. And it's grown so much, since we've lived there. We still have friends and family there, and we've been in Santa Cruz, California for about, or in the Bay Area for about, God, I don't even know, 15 years or so, maybe longer. But we go back 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year for shows, for family, that kind of stuff. So we're always in touch, and it's just been amazing to see how much growth. It's become a real city. When we were there, it just felt more kind of up and coming. It was still kind of a sprawl, not much, not nearly as much going on as there is now. And so that's an incredible place. I definitely miss it, and will always love it.
Now, with being out there on the West Coast, there's definitely a West Coast vibe. It's in your music. What type of influences have you been getting, from being out there on the West Coast?
I mean, so many. Part of the reason why we wanted to come out to the West Coast was was the music. That it was just the music, and that was everything from the Grateful Dead to DJ Shadow, to Dre, and the kind of G-funk sound that was in LA. That all had just a huge, especially that sound, that LA G-Funk sound, because that was so influential on Atlanta. And so Atlanta really took that and added all this other instrumentation, all this kind of, funk, and kind of, it's like this back and forth between East Coast, West Coast in this kind of instrumental, and what the instrumentals were. And we loved that style. We loved that music. And so, that was a big part of it. Just, all these bands, all this music, all this art and culture that were here, that was a big part of bringing us out here. And also, just as important was the nature, just being around these, the ocean, the mountains, the big trees. It's unlike anything else in the world, and it's incredibly inspiring. And I think that's something that that's still really important to us.
Definitely. Yeah. The weather, I mean, perfect temps pretty much every day. The sun's always shining. You're close to the ocean. You're close to the mountains. Like everything's there.
It's so true. And it feels like a bubble in its own right. And it is. And we're so lucky to be here. And that's been the biggest part, just really exploring the nature here, exploring things that truly almost California exclusively has to offer. And the last few years have been tough in so many ways, but especially kind of we've noticed the change. We've been out here long enough to notice the change that the environment's going through, how different it is now than when it was when we first got out here. And so we see that change. I think we're all concerned and want to do what we can to kind of help us through this next era and get to a more sustainable path, because it's, that weather, now our fire season is more or less all year. There's all these issues that are that people are feeling all over the world. These effects of climate change that have not escaped us out here either.
Now, talking to STS9 here, and you guys have always been very active and very socially conscious as well, and activists for that right too. When you're talking about the environment and all the changes you're seeing, the record temperatures, that we had like this summer all across the country is just like kind of, that's a product and an example of, kind of how things are definitely changing. Climate wise, what other things are you guys kind of into and supporting these days?
Well, I think it's pretty diverse. I think, we've drawn some attention to something Hunter spoke about here, the nature in California and the trees and the Redwood League here, trying to preserve some of these old growths. We continually do food drives with an organization called Conscious Alliance at our shows, where you can bring canned food or some food to be distributed locally and get a free poster for the show, and try to work or lend energy and awareness to the great organizations that are out there doing the real fight, right? I think our job is to bring awareness to those things and support the things that are concerned for us and things we need to see change. So it's a continual thing for us. It's part of our values, and in what we do, and also closely connected with our community of fans.
Yeah, and you guys are so into like the festival scene and playing a lot of different fests. So I can imagine like the past 2 years were very difficult in that aspect. So how does it feel to be back out there performing live, which is really where you guys really kind of seem to excel, as a band, the way that your music kind of flows?
Man, it feels amazing. And, the time away from it was well spent in honing our instruments and our craft. But to be back out there and to play in front of people and share our art is really the most fulfilling part, purposeful part of what we do. So it feels incredible, and to be invited to the inaugural Sacred Rose and to be a part of that beginning and experience that. And, just the feedback you gave us here in the beginning of how much our show is appreciated. That's why we do what we do, and so we have hope.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great. Yeah, definitely refreshing what you guys are doing. It's good stuff. And, you've been at it so long and you just constantly seem to keep evolving, which I like. So, do you feel with like that evolution? So from your fans that have followed you from the get-go, do you ever get like any type of, I guess, like negative feedback, like, oh, what are you guys trying to do now, or anything like that? Or do they seem to continue to grow and evolve with you as well?
I think for the most part, they've definitely grown and evolved with us. I think, maybe in the not so distant past, there was some of that. But I mean, that's, as an artist, if you make anybody feel anything, you're winning, right?
Yeah.
And so I think ultimately we're making the music that we love and want to hear, and represents our growth and our experience and where we want to go to. But as of late, it feels like just everybody's on board, and we're firing on all cylinders over here and excited to play, doing our best to make every show unique.
So make sure you're following STS9 on Instagram and Twitter at STS9, and check out the website too, sts9.com.
Just right there, just interject real quick. Bandcamp as well is something that is a big thing for us in our band. We offer sort of a subscription service, if you will, and have access to music that's only available there, like some of our bubble sessions from the studio, which are kind of improvisational moments, just us in our studio, to all the shows that have just played. Sacred Rose Festival is probably up Monday or Tuesday. And so everything we're doing is kind of there. That's our big share. So check that out as well.
Perfect. Absolutely. Now you're talking about, kind of evolving and changing and doing the music that you felt like was most authentic to you. Now, when I look at like some of your social media, even on your website, I see a lot of Miles Davis in there. And Miles was definitely one of those that kind of, did that, was always a virtuoso and wanted to do his own thing eventually, and did that more like later on during his career. So, I mean, how big of an influence is Miles Davis kind of on what you do?
It's probably incalculable, honestly. I probably, could say, I mean, personally, and I know all of us feel this way more or less, is like, he's definitely one of our favorite artists of all time, probably my favorite artist of all time. So much that came through Miles ended up influencing us in such a huge way, whether it was his playing in particular, the albums he was putting together, the bands he was putting together, the songs he was writing. I mean, John McLaughlin is like my favorite guitar player of all time. I discovered him through Miles Davis. Ron Carter. I mean, it could go on and on and on. Of just kind of the connection that our generation, maybe he's kind of he is that touchstone that I think that we still have a connection with the deeper history of jazz, where the music that kind of informs a lot of what we're doing, and the stuff that we love and what we kind of aspire to. He is kind of that touchstone that he played with all the greats. He joined Charlie Parker's band. Had a band with Coltrane. He did it all. And at the end of the day, I think he is just someone we always look up to, always go back to, and he's always around us. The music's always playing. We probably all, more, in a silent way, is always on somewhere, or Bitches Brew, or now we're digging into some of the deeper stuff that we weren't as familiar with. So he's someone who definitely looms large over everything that we do, and we feel lucky for it.
It's funny because, I've loved Miles since college, and every once in a while I step away, but then like when I come back, it's like, well, what did I even step away for?
Yeah.
It's just like amazing, kind of what he does. Once again, stuff that could be used for like the soundtrack of my life, just being played there in the background.
Same. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And it also speaks to that, when you say soundtrack of your life, in, the form of instrumental music, and what that allows the interpreter to interpret on their own. It might mean a million things to a million people, right? And so it's one of those parallels as well, being an instrumental band and appreciating that space it opens up for the viewer, if you will, or the listener, sorry.
So do you feel that, I mean, just by doing the instrumentals, the storytelling, it leaves it more open to interpretation to the listener? Or, I mean, do you feel that there is definitely like a specific narrative through your instrumental music?
I think it's both. I don't think it's ever one or the other. I think we definitely have our intention with the music, and we leave breadcrumb trails, whether it be through a sample or whether it be through a specific sound or the song title. as like, if you want to go deeper, there we give you avenues to go deeper, or you can just appreciate it for what it is in the moment too. So I think, again, a lot of that is up to the interpreter, right? The listener of what it means to them.
No, it's all good stuff. So what can we expect from STS9 here in the future?
But we're about 95% done with a new album. We are just right there. So we're working on that a lot, and couldn't be kind of more excited about it. We've just got a ton of music and songs and recorded material that's kind of burning a hole in our pocket that we really want to share. And so we're trying to get that ready to share. And so that's a big part of what we're doing, and just getting ready for these shows. We've got some big plans for the shows we have coming up. We have a big show coming up in New York or in Brooklyn in 3 weeks. And we're playing with a few people, but one of them is Medeski Martin & Wood. And that's kind of like, oh my God. I mean, we worship Medeski Martin & Wood, and I mean, we wouldn't be here probably we wouldn't be the band that we are without them. I mean, we used to follow them when we were kids around, the South, any shows that we could ever see. And so this is just, and we've played with them before, but we haven't in a long time. And so it's just like incredibly special. That's something that's right around the corner. I think we're thinking about every second of every day right now. So shout out to Medeski Martin & Wood.
Good stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot more performances than obviously in the last few years. And, just as a band, continually pushing the boundaries. Lots of new music, like Hunter said, lots of stuff.
Perfect. So David, what do you have to add? You've been a little quiet for this one.
These guys are covering it so well. But yeah, the album is very exciting. It's been quite a journey through COVID and everything that's happened over the last couple of years to be working on some music, and excited to share that. But also could just kind of reiterate what Jeffrey said. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening on Bandcamp. It's a subscription, but you don't necessarily have to keep the subscription for 1 month's worth. You can experience a lot of music, and hopefully there's enough there that you would keep going with a subscription. But to just dip your toes doesn't take much. And we just released a new improv session from the studio, and a whole collection, kind of like the vision tapes of all acoustic music. One before that was drum and bass. One before that was funk. So Alana and Brad combed the archives, recent and old, for our best picks. And that's in addition to every live show that we ever play goes up within a matter of days. So that's, if you want to be into Sector 9, there's a lot of stuff there to check out. That's what I would have to share. The improv stuff that we're getting out of the studio especially is really fun. These are like harking back to sessions where things were played once, and what happened in the studio, and all of a sudden it's a piece of music that somebody's gonna find in my attic one day. So, yeah,
almost like catching lightning in a bottle, they say.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's really exciting, and always just kind of blown away to hear it back. Like, wow, that's what we're doing right now. So, 25 years later, still have this hunger and love for music that, the music that changes the world might just be right around the corner if we just keep going after it, So that hope and excitement, it really feels like we're still 19 and everything is before us. And that's what keeps me going every day.
Yeah, you talk about the music that's going to change the world, that coming up. I think what you guys are doing, you're definitely changing the world with the music that you're doing. I mean, that's why you have such longevity in the music business, and your fan base is what it is, and you're authentic, and you continue to grow, and it's just like that organic creativity that you share and put out there. That's great. It's good for music, and I wish that more people would do that, for sure.
Thank you so much for saying that. I don't know if it's possible to blush over the radio, but I mean, that's what we could hope for our art. So, like David said, we're continuing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have a link to the Bandcamp too in the description here of the interview. So anybody that wants to check that out, well, everybody should check that out. That link will be here in the description as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
So, guys, is there anything else that's coming up that's maybe you can let us know about, or are there particular artists that maybe we haven't heard of that we should be listening to? Any new artists?
Oh, wow. Hmm. What, yes, for sure. I mean, they're getting a lot of attention, well-deserved attention right now. But Domi and JD Beck is someone that I think that we've been loving last couple of years, and Micaiah McCraven, Micaiah McCraven. That's something I mean, I can't say enough about his last couple of albums. I mean, those are the ones I'm most familiar with.
Okay.
Just an incredible drummer, producer. He's got an album called oh God, what is it now? I can't remember. He's got one called Seventh Strain, but another one it's something The Message, and it is just it's unbelievable. It really is. Who else? Oh, someone I'm learning a lot from right now is Julian Lage, and he's got a new album out. He's been around for a long time, but he's kind of a younger guitar player who's just, that people will still be talking about 100 years from now. Just incredible. Those are three that kind of come to mind right away. Mansur Brown, a guitar player from UK, he's got a new album. You have to stop me. I keep going.
Oh no, it's all good. So I just love hearing about new music and stuff like that. I mean, that's one of the things that I have here at the station is New Music at 9, where I try to feature a new artist, somebody you haven't heard usually on the station before, and just try to expose people to new music. I'm always,
Nice.
Upon meeting anybody, that's usually like my first question is like, what are you listening to?
That's Deciphering the Message. Micaiah McCraven, Deciphering the Message. That's the album. It's
Okay.
It's definitely worth checking out. Another one, Colin Stetson. He's like a solo sax player. Someone else we've been listening to a little bit. And yeah. What about you? So, Yusef Dace. I think that's another one that we talk about a lot. That's just like, oh my God, another drummer from UK who's just that we're inspired by. What about you? What are you listening to?
You know what? Going into Sacred Rose, I was really big on Krungbin.
Love them. Yes.
Oh, just good stuff. Once again, the stuff that's like the soundtrack of your life that just kind of, plays as you go about and just like inspires you that way. Unfortunately on Sunday, the weather didn't really allow for the festival to kind of continue as it should have.
We heard.
So missed out on seeing them.
Oh, yeah, we heard.
Yeah, so I really would have liked to have seen them live. Otherwise, what else am I listening to that's really new? I find myself, I guess I'm very cyclical with my listening, and I'm going back and rediscovering, things again, like The Doors. I've been listening to The Doors again for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Nice.
So, and even like Funkadelic, been listening to like a lot of Funkadelic, just driving around listening to Maggot Brain, so.
All day.
Yeah, it's extremely cyclical. I try to bring new ingredients into the recipe every time to perfect it.
Dude, make yourself a bath and put on the Cone concert from Keith Jarrett.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't heard Keith Jarrett in a while. See, that's.
Oh man, I can do some mad gardening with Keith.
See, and like that's the thing. Like when I say like the soundtrack to your life, it doesn't necessarily mean like that you're doing anything actively. It could just be, oh man, I'm stuck in traffic, and how am I going to get through this? Living in a place like here in Chicago, I'll sit in traffic all the time, and it's the only way I get through it is just by, saying the name of. I don't want to say the name of the, one who controls my phone, but just like saying that, and it's like, hey, play this, play that. And boom, now you're set like into another headspace. You're calm, you're good, you're transported somewhere else,
That's the powerful thing about music, and why these people on the phone today have dedicated their lives to this art form, because it is that transformative universal language that's almost indescribable. It means so much to so many different people on a global level. We're just happy to play our part in that, for real.
Yeah. I hate to sound cliche, but it brings people together.
That's it. That's one of the main reasons we do what we do. That's one of the most important reasons for doing what we do, and it's always just that's the most joyous we are when we get to a show and we see someone that we haven't seen for a long time, or we see someone in the crowd, having that experience. And it's just that joy that we're all able to kind of create together, and to create these moments where we can, have a reason to get together far away and experience something that is kind of mysterious and we take our own meaning from, and can help us in our own personal ways. It's deep. It's hard to talk about, and that's why I think mostly we're an instrumental band. But it is just such a rich environment to build a life in, and to explore. It's something that you could explore your entire life and never exhaust it. And so we're definitely realizing, that's definitely the truth from our perspective so far. And so it's, just grateful and so thankful to do what we do and to have the opportunity to play and to create, and that anyone even cares at all. So we try to just never take that for granted, and put everything that we can into what we do together.
No, I agree with you. The whole word thing, trying to put music into words has always been a very difficult thing for me to do. And, as being someone on the radio who plays music, I kind of let the music speak for itself.
That's right.
All right,
For
guys,
sure. Well, you're a natural at it. So some people have that gift. And I think the ones who don't maybe just have to find it in other ways. So thank you for sharing it with us, and for caring about what we're doing. We really, it means a lot to us.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you once again for what you do. I'm telling you, you guys you're killing it. It's great. So love the music.
We like to say bringing it to life.
Yeah. Killing it is just kind of, it's weird. You grow up in a certain era, you learn certain terms, and it's hard to get rid of it.
Oh, we still say it, no doubt.
We say it
We're
too.
trying.
I'm just half joking with you. Before we go, I would just love to say for all the Chicago STS9 fans, thank you guys so much for your support over the years. We love coming there, playing. We look forward to the next time. And for those of it, who haven't heard of us, check us out.
Absolutely. And you know what? Next time you guys play, I'm definitely going to attempt to be there. Definitely going to attempt to be there for sure.
Please do reach out. Let us know. We'd love to meet you and say hi. So come on.
Yeah. Same here. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Hunter, David, Jeffrey from STS9. Follow them on Bandcamp. Check out their Bandcamp. The description is in the link here. So be sure to check that out. It's Jeffrey with 1023 XLC.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Jeff.